Cristo de la Noas. I'll show you the picture first. Let's have a look at the picture first. Can I make it bigger? Can I make it bigger? Moved it around so you can't. There it is. It's not really doing it for me. They've gone for that massive. It is all plinth, but they've turned the plinth into the Jesus again. We've seen this style of Jesus before, where they essentially build a big plinth, and at the top they whack on the head and the arms. So that's not something that I'm a big fan of. Those things are not hanging off Jesus. They're on the buildings behind. Sullen as well. Sullen Jesus, not happy. Big stylized head. Lost a lot of detail. Yeah, not really doing it for me, this one. Let's find out some information. It's in Mexico. It was built between 1973 and 2000, so it took them a long time. It's reinforced concrete, and it's 21 meters. So it's not the biggest, still quite big, not the heaviest, walloped in with concrete. So you can see why they've gone for the simple structure now. Let me move that here. So you can see why they've gone for the simple structure, because if it's made out of concrete, you know, simple structures, easier, more safe, not going to topple over. Probably got lots of steel inside that, as a reinforced frame that they built on and around. In the Sanctuary of Christ of the Nose, there's a religious resort with replica of the Holy Land, panoramic restaurant. Wow. So I was like, what's he stood in front of? There's a religious resort with a replica of the Holy Land, a panoramic restaurant, and a cable car. I mean, what's a replica of the Holy Land? And what, you go in and behind it there, that's like Little Palestine. What? What a weird concept for an amusement park. What a strange concept for an amusement park, eh? Is that what making it? It's not making it. It's not making it for me. There it is, illuminated. So you can see that chiseled, expressionless Jesus. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. But they've got a panoramic restaurant, so panoramic restaurant. Cristo della Minerva by Michelangelo. Oh, the risen Christ, Cristo della Minerva in Italian, also known as Christ the Redeemer or Christ carrying the cross. It's marble, sculpted in the High Renaissance, 1521. It's in the church in Rome to the left of the main altar, so I may have been there and seen this. Is that the actual one? Hang on. The first version, finished by a later artist. Strange. I do know from my studies, from my learnings, that when you make a sculpture, it's not like literally you chip it out of the material and that's it, done, there's your only sculpture. Like they do sketches, they work on different things. You know, you get little pieces. Eventually you get the main one. You might do 2 or 3. So that was finished by a later artist. They also had, like Michelangelo would have had students, apprentices at some stage. I'm guessing, but this is what, you know, we'll learn more in art history at some point, but I'm guessing, but this is the norm of the time. And they would have done some of the work. So he'd have said, like, you know, get me the basic body shape carved out of this so I can see what it's looking like. Can you do the leg over a bit like this? And I'll come and I'll start doing some detail on the old nuts and berries. That may have happened. But this one, they've covered up the nuts and berries, look. How times have changed. That's in Rome. I'm not sure about these Roman marbles. I'm certain almost that they would have been at that. They wouldn't have been painted. They would have looked like that. But the original Greek statues, really interestingly, we see these pale plaster white Greek statues, and everyone thinks of ancient Greece as having all these white statues. They would have been painted. They would have been painted, but the paint just didn't survive, although the statues did. But this would have probably been marble. I mean, that it's going in our top. It's Michelangelo. He's probably one of the better of the turtles. Leonardo was always my favourite. Raphael I always liked as well, even though some people see him as the worst turtle. Michelangelo is one of a good... I mean, they're all good turtles, aren't they? So, but that's Michelangelo. Like, you know, come on, it's Michelangelo. We'll save the big critique and the big learning for the actual tier list that we're going to do out of the top 10. But absolutely, Michelangelo's getting in there. He's got it, hasn't he? So now we've got 5 Jesuses. 5 Jesuses. I've probably seen that as well. Where is this church? Basilica of St. Mary above Minerva. I mean, do I recognise it? I think I do. I think I know where it is. I'm not an expert, but I'll show you the basilica. Look, it's only little like that, but it sits on a square. And I think we went to this square at some point. I'm not certain. It's located in the Piazza di Minerva. See, look, there you go. Towards the Pantheon. That's classic Rome, that is. That's just what Rome's like. Let me get the picture up and show you. Look, yeah, like some more modern buildings, a bit of a thing, and then what's that behind it? It's like something absolutely ancient. Just all sandwiched and wedged in together. Usually there's like 1 million people walking around. No, I've lost the Jesuses. Bring me back to Jesus. Here we go. So we've got Michelangelo. He's in. He's in. Cristo del Otero, a large sculpture and symbol of the city of Palencia in Spain. So we've got quite a few Spanish Jesuses, haven't we? We've got quite a few Spanish Jesuses. And you've got to consider as well that the Southern Americas, Spanish and Portuguese people, and European people of other kinds, but mainly the Spanish and the Portuguese, they went over there, didn't they, in the past, and did the bad things with the slaves and taking over the places. And they were the ones that put in the Jesuses, or at least the concepts. It's changed, it's lived on, the legacy is what it is, but there's a prevalence of Spanish Jesuses, mainly, I think, because of that prevalence of Spanish culture through that time period. Certainly when Jesus was big, those ideas have then pushed on, and this legacy of giant Jesuses seems to have been created. So this one is located, I'll show you the big one, I'll read the words. It's located on a knoll, K-N-O-L-L, on the outskirts of the city. Another name, much less popular, is the Monument to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The sculpture was designed by Vittorio Maccio, and it's also the location of his tomb. Wow. Vittorio Maccio was considered to be one of the greats of modern Spanish sculpture. His style was influenced by Art Deco. His home and his workshop in Toledo was converted into a museum dedicated to his work. Let's just have a quick look at him. There he is. He did public monuments. So he's like the dude that's been making the big statues. And for his, for his troubles, he got buried in one. Very interesting. Not my favourite image of Jesus. This one's almost like ghastly alien Jesus. Looks like a grey, doesn't it? Not being racist against aliens. But that doesn't look that appealing. And he's gone for... What is this in the stone? Are these Are they inconsistencies in the stone? Flecks? Are they chips? Quite often the stone can I make it bigger? I think they are. Those white dots all over the Jesus. I think they're chips. Chipped stone. Let's just see. I'll show you the big Jesus and I'll read what it says and see if we can get any information. The initial project wanted to embed the they wanted to embed ivory and marble into the eyes, but it was insufficient budget. So the empty sockets are now windows. Its great verticality and slenderness, maybe because it's designed to be seen from below. One can also interpret this work as a vertical column, in contrast to the horizontality of the countryside. It's covered with grain and sprinkled with poplars and oaks. Oh no, that's the countryside, not Jesus. Yeah. It's more than 20 meters high. The initial project was 21 meters tall, and it was going to have feet of bronze, and it was going to be decorated with golden tiles. And the arms were going to go sideways, but in the end it was restructured to make it lighter. So it's a compromise Jesus. So I don't know. Cristo del Pacifico in Peru. No, it's a South American. 37 meters, massive, 2011, modern. A gift from the consortium of Brazilian companies to the city of Lima. It was inspired by Christ the Redeemer. There he is. You can see right up his nose. Hiya chap. Let me just take a minute. Sit right here. Tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. Samimi. I don't know if I can pronounce your name. I apologise. Zamimi. It's a good name. It's a good name. And I'm guessing that you've announced your age there, because I put in the chat rules. The chat. Why don't you introduce yourself and say sort of how old you are and the sort of area of the world you're in and stuff like that. So thanks. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. I'll give you a big face. Give you a big face. There you are. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. It's all good in the hood. We are browsing giant Jesuses, and we are deciding on whether they make our shortlist for our tier list maker. And once we've decided on what the top 10, what we think are maybe the top 10 Jesuses, we'll put them in the tier list maker, and then we'll put, we're really going to, we'll find out who's the best Jesus. So this one's in Lima, Peru. You can see right up his nose. It's an interesting Jesus, isn't it? A lot more detail in the face. A lot more detail in the face. Big, wide arms. Hands reaching up and out. Inspired by the one in Brazil. I'll move it so you can see it while I read you the words. 37 meters. There aren't that many words. It's not telling us what it's made out of. So I don't know. It's good, but it ain't that good, is it? It's good, but it ain't that good. Next Jesus. This is... Let me move it so you can see it. Let me move it so you can see it. Let me move it. There you are. That's Christ the Redeemer of Maratea. It's Italian. Southern Italy. And it's in Carrara marble. That's lovely. Carrara marble. Look at that. I'll even click it. Look, there's Carrara marble. They dig it out of the rock. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad when you think about it. Not mad in the mental health sense, which of course is a serious topic, but wow. Sort of up to the mountain there, and in the mountain, just huge walloping rock. Cut it out nice and square off the mountain there. Cut it out nice and square. Get these big... That one in the foreground that you can see. It's got a chip in the... and that one. And they've got chips... Oh, that'd be annoying, wouldn't it? If it's your only job to cut out these giant, nice, square... Done a good job getting the top... No, you chip that one. Is that one rubbish now? Is that one ruined? But look, they're bigger than that little hut. These are vast, big blocks, big old blocks. They just chip them out of the mountain. Just chuff away at the mountain, take down the mountain. And inside is this substance, inside, deep in the mountain. They've been doing this for years as well. This is what it blows my mind. Back in Michelangelo's day, back in the Roman days, they're doing this. Dig away at the mountain. They didn't have diggers and things back then, so it was even more difficult. Get these things out. They're heavy. But they're beautiful. They've got a lovely quality to them. They're soft enough to carve with tools, but hard enough to last eternities. Well, eternities, longer than us. Long enough. And beautiful colours. Beautiful pale. They use the word marbled now, don't they, because of marble. But you know what we mean. That mixture of the two tones, the melding. Beautiful. And it gives life and interest to whatever you create from it. Massive. And then they take that out of the mountain, turn it into this, which I need to move around. They turn it into that. Turn it into a big old Jesus. But to be fair, this is made in 1965 by Bruno Innocenti, and I do know off the top of my head that Bruno Innocenti is a top artist, so I'm not going to diss it too much, but it don't look like the Jesus that we're used to seeing. For a start, he's got the little shorty haircut. It looks more like one of the disciples, doesn't it? The wings of the arms, what's going on there? The way the robes create these sort of wings. What's going on there? I think what's going on there is the arms are so delicate and thin at the top there that they wouldn't hold their own weight in marble. So they've been added to with this sort of putty-like wings of the robe just to give them some structure and strength. So again, I think that's a compromise in the artistic structure. It's got this feminine quality because it looks like it's a long dress. It's got that big plinth. It's another one of these where you've got a big plinth, a little head and some arms on top. There's not much quality to the midsection there. But what this Jesus is doing that the others aren't is stepping forward. Seems to be in motion. There's a lot more motion about this, so there's something to be said for that. Not my favourite. Interesting face. Can I make Jesus' face big enough for you to see why it's interesting? Can make it a bit bigger. Interesting face, but vaguely a little bit more. I want to say human. A little bit more normal. A little bit more like you could see that fella on the bus. Which tea is my tea that I made today, and which tea is the tea that I heard the other day? Oh no! Jesus off the bus. Do you think it makes the shortlist? What do you reckon? Do you want this one on the shortlist? F's in chat for Jesus. I'll just read a little bit about it. The sculpture was created by the Florentine sculptor Bruno Innocenti. The idea to realise the statue was the Count Stefano Rivetti of Valcervero. He was the promoter and financer of the project. So just one person paid for a giant Jesus. Third largest in Europe. 3 meters high, not that big, but the third largest in Europe. Not giant though. He was flying. Oh, he came back from Italy and he asked Bruno Innocenti, the professor of sculpture, to make Christ the Redeemer. So there you go. He was flying over the country and he was like, "We need a big Jesus," and that's all you can be told. Who's next? Angolan Jesus, a Catholic monument and shrine looking over the city of Lubango in Angola. Got a problem here because it's a photograph from a bit of a distance. Isn't it? That one is a photograph from a bit of a distance. Isn't it? I can't tell much about it. We're all going for these arms out, aren't we? If you're making a statue of Jesus these days, I propose you don't go for the arms out. It's been overused. It's been overdone. If you somehow get commissioned, you know, someone asks you, can you make a statue of giant Jesus for me? Say yes. Absolutely say yes. What a great project to be involved in, even though Jesus isn't that popular anymore. You know, I'm not a member of the church or anything. You know, I don't pray to Jesus like this, but from what I understand, they've got a lot of money, and so being involved with their projects allows you to express artistic ideas, well funded, and then it's got that religious aspect to it as well. So I don't know if Michelangelo was big into Jesus when he did his Jesus. I don't know if this one was made by someone who loved Jesus or just loved sculpturing, but they got the opportunity. They've whacked it up. 30 metres high, so it is massive. That's proper massive. White marble, 1957. Portuguese engineer designed it, so not an artist but an engineer, and it's a World Heritage Site in Angola. It was built by ancient settlers of the region of Madeira as a Catholic landmark, and it represented colonial interests. So it's got a bit of a bad colonial interests. Built on a base of cement and hydraulic lime, foundation of stones, cement and bricks, 2 levels to support a ladder to the last. Giant hillside, colonial Jesus.